Hey guys, welcome to the channel Super Airsoft Bros. If you're liking the videos that we're putting out, feel free to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, and like I said, if you like the videos that we're putting out, feel free to hit the subscribe button below.
Today we're going to be talking to you about guns, guys. Beginner guide to airsoft guns. So if you're getting into airsoft, don't know what to do, you don't know what to buy, we're going to help you out with that.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about in terms of the guns is rental guns. If you're just starting out with airsoft, you probably won't have your own gun, and which is totally fine. One of the things that we definitely recommend is getting rentals first. So when you go to a field, most of the time they are going to have these rentals. They're either going to be M4 platforms, M4 carbines looking like this, or AK platforms, but just generally on the smaller version, more compact. Usually they're just going to cost you a few dollars extra, but that's really what you're going to find. That classic looking AK or M4.
So our number one recommendation is to go rent a gun. If you don't have one, go rent it. Do not buy one. Don't drop $300 on a brand new gun if you're not sure you're going to like it. So go to a field, rent a gun, borrow a friend's gun if you can, it's even better, and just see how you like it. Really something like this, the rental guns are going to run you pretty cheap, but at the same time, you don't want to invest hundreds of dollars if you're not going to like the game.
Yeah, and definitely probably the number one thing for your first time playing with the rental gun is really see if you enjoy the game of airsoft. Don't focus too much about the gun, because your first time you're just going to be wanting to get into it and you're going to figure out if you're having fun or not. Definitely do it a second time with the rental gun and then see what you like about the rental gun. Do you like the grip that it has? Does it give you enough power? Do you have enough accuracy? That kind of thing. And do you like the M4 platform or the AK platform, whichever one the field is running? And what do you like about it? What you don't like about it? So you definitely want to take it a little bit step by step. Definitely first figure out if you like playing airsoft the first time, and then second time get into your personal preferences of the guns.
Alright guys, if you are not taking our advice and you just want to go out and buy a gun right off the bat, a couple very important things to keep in mind. Mainly, obviously, what kind of gun do you want? Like we mentioned, there's M4 styles, there's AK styles, and there's also 9mm submachine gun style weapons. So obviously we already showed you this, the M4. It takes a specific kind of magazine. It's pretty standard across the board though. Most M4 style guns take these mags. So for example, if I was to start with this gun and then bought something like this, I could still use the same magazines. Very universal, very handy. And M4 styles are the most common across the board. AKs are also very common, but they obviously take their own mags. We don't unfortunately have an AK to show you today, but you can't put M4 mags into an AK for obvious reasons. It just doesn't fit. Now, there's also, like I mentioned, the 9mm round mags. They're just smaller, obviously, and they won't fit in M4 for the same reason the AK won't fit, and vice versa. So our recommendation would be to go with an M4 style because the magazines are so universal, but really just keep that in mind when you're looking for your first purchase.
So in terms of purchasing, the amount of money that you want to spend for your first gun is probably going to be within the 150, 200 range, maybe 220 max, but you really don't want to go any farther than that. My first gun was an AK. I spent about $100 on it, and it lasted for probably 4 years, and I never had an issue with it. So you can buy really great working guns that will last you a long time for your first gun if you stick within that range. You really don't want to go any lower than that, because then you'll get into maybe some of the ones that they sell at Walmart or something like that, and that are just for you don't really want to go down that route. Stick within the 150 to 200 range. This M4, the combat machine, is within that range. I have one as well from SEMA or SIMA, depending on how you pronounce it. But really, they're not the most powerful weapons, but they're good, solid weapons. And especially the combat machine got some really good customization options, so you can still keep it and continue to grow yourself with your airsoft experience and the gun as well. And kind of mentioning like the different guns, like you really, like I said, you don't want to go higher than 200. This was about 400. Crytek, it is really, really good, but I don't recommend it for first timers, because I got this because I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted the longer barrel and what Crytek offers for internals as well. But like I said, for first time, really don't go all out. You can get an AK or an M4 for a good price. And then if you have some extra money left over, definitely use that for extra gear, extra magazines, because especially with magazines, when you buy one, like Parker said, with the AK mags versus M4 mags, you really just want to stick with one for right now. It'll be cheaper because you don't have to spend money on two different types of magazines.
So we've talked about a lot of different types of guns today. Basically, guys, really what you need to know is this, obviously, like we said, is the way to go. Our best recommendation if you want to buy your first gun, something like this anyways, cheap but effective. It's also good for indoors, indoor versus outdoor, so depending on where you are, if there's an indoor field around you but there's no outdoor field, there are different rules on what you can bring, but something like this will work in either scenario. Something that is, a little more expensive, a little more powerful like this, it's not going to fly in an indoor range, and you won't want to use it because it's a lot longer and not good for CPP, things like that.
Definitely one type of airsoft gun that I want to mention is sniper rifles. I'm sure a lot of you are looking to, quick scope or something like that, or just get into a little sniper thing, get the ghillie going, and be a deadly force on the field. I definitely don't recommend it for your first gun. Sniping is very specific, and most people who do snipe, they get very specific guns with specific upgrades, BBs, scopes as well. So it's, we'll talk more about snipers in a different video, go more in depth, but in terms of your first gun, don't get a sniper rifle, just stick with either the AK or the M4, because it gets very specific, and you're going to want to know more about airsoft in your own playing style before you dive into it.
Yeah, for sure. And going off that, pistols, guys. I know everybody likes a pistol. It looks cool on your hips, or on your thigh holster, or whatever, wherever you've got it. It looks great. And I, for one, have always wanted a pistol because it looks cool, and if you get in a pinch, just draw your pistol out. Could be helpful, but realistically, it's not. I've never once found myself in a position playing airsoft where I need a sidearm. So definitely, if later down the road, if you decide that you want one, go for it. But just starting out, please don't waste your money on pistols. They are very expensive, and they're only good if you get a gas-powered one. And we're going to talk about gas-powered guns more in depth in the future, because that's a whole separate situation. But they are way more expensive than they really should be, because they're really not that helpful.
And going off the gas pistols and the gas guns, guys, all these guns that we're showing you are AEGs. They're automatic electric guns. It just takes simple battery, and then you hook it in, and you're good to go. They have a couple different types of batteries, and we'll talk about that in a different video. But that's there's so many options. But really, what we're trying to convey is just go with a simple M4, AK, AEG for your first time. So guys, I know that we've talked a lot about broad subjects, and like we've said before in the video, this is just an intro for you guys who are looking to get into airsoft and for your first guns. We'll be talking a lot about these various topics like power source, like gas versus AEG, specific types of M4s to get, upgrades, different types of guns, that sort of thing, like pistols and sniper rifles as well, tactics. So down the line, we will definitely be putting up more videos shortly about specific stuff that you are probably interested in seeing. So definitely stay tuned.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please comment below, ask us any questions you have. If we didn't cover something that maybe you want to see covered, let us know, and we'll talk about that in a future video too.